Good morning, my dear students. Hope you are all fine and safe at home. I am also fine. Have you read the portion which we discussed in the previous class? Yes. You send that side question answers to me. All of you read and understood the portion very clearly that I understood from that answers. Okay, keep it well. Okay, come back to the lesson. Now you know that cobra and mongoose, they started their fight. In the first attempt, actually that cobra missed that bite and he was attacked by whom? The mongoose. Okay, so let's resume that lesson in this period. Okay, a few drops of blood glistened on the cobra's back. The cobra struck again and missed. Again the mongoose sprang aside, jumped in and bite. Again the birds dived at the snake, bumped into each other instead and returned shrieking to the safety of the cactus. Then what happened? A few drops of blood glistened. Glistened means here appeared on the cobra's back. What happened? Why? Because in the previous class we discussed that cobra tried to attack that mongoose and fell at that time, fell on the ground, and at that time the mongoose just jumped on its back and attacked him. So that teeth of that mongoose, by using the teeth of that mongoose bite him. So that what happened? Blood came out. The cobra struck again and missed. Then what? That snake got angry. Why? Because he was attacked. So again with more and more power, that cobra attacked that mongoose. What happened? But that also missed. Again the mongoose sprang aside. Sprang means here moved. He moved aside. What happened? Jumped in and bit. Then what? Again that because of that angry on whom? Angry on that mongoose, that big cobra strongly with all its powers attacked that mongoose. This time also what happened? That mongoose just moved. Then what happened? The cobra again fell on the ground, and that time again that mongoose jumped on him and bit him. Again the birds dived at the snake. The same time, you know, in the same like the previous time, myna and crow, both of them dived into that area. They were at the snake, bumped, or they hit, or they smashed into each other instead. This time also they hit each other and returned shrieking. The same like by return, they returned by shrieking. Shrieking means yes, by screaming to the safety of the cactus. They moved back to that cactus plant. Now two moves. In these two moves, what happened? That cobra failed to bite whom? Mongoose. And two times who won? Who won? Yes, mongoose won. Okay. The third round followed the same course as the first, but with one dramatic difference. The crow and the myna, still determined to take part in the proceedings, dived at the cobra, but this time they missed each other as well as their mark. The myna flew on and reached its perch, but the crow tried to pull up in mid-air and turned back. In the second that it took him to do this, the cobra whipped his head back and struck with great force, his snout thudding against the crow's body. Then what happened? The third round followed the same course. First, second round completed. The same round followed, or same like happened in the first, second rounds, but in third round, the same things followed, but with one dramatic difference. But there was a dramatic difference. What was that dramatic difference? The crow and the myna still determined to take part. To take part means to participate. Myna and crow, actually they do not have any business in that, but both of them, whenever the cobra falls, they come close. This time also, third time also, they moved close to this cobra. Then what happened? Dived at the cobra, but this time they missed each other as well as their mark. That time they both of them moved nearby that cobra, and they missed each other. And what happened? The myna flew on. There was no collision between these two myna and crow. But what happened? The myna flew on and reached its perch. Perch means that branch he sat. He moved back, he flew and reached there on that cactus plant. But in the second that it took him to do this, the cobra whipped his head back and struck with great force. But what happened? But the crow tried to pull up in mid-air. But what happened? That myna moved away, flew away, but crow couldn't move away. It tried to pull up in mid-air and turned back. That moved, then it stopped, just turned it back. In the second that it took him to do this, the cobra whipped. Whipped means bet we can say here, but here bite we can say. That bite his head back and they struck with great force. Then what? That cobra, with all its powers, it whipped. Whipped means bet his head back and struck with great force. It moved back and turned towards that crow, and with great force it attacked that crow. Then his snout means the nose and the mouth part of an animal. So his snout of that cobra thudding, striking against the crow's body. Then what? That snout means that nose and mouth part of that cobra, that thudding, strike it bit on that crow's body. It got a chance. Why? Because actually that cobra was failing in that what he failed in first two attempts to attack that mongoose, and the third time also failed. And at that time he saw that cobra who was unnecessarily interfering in that matter, in that fight. So what? It got all is angry and it turned against that cobra and attacked that crow, and it is a very strong venomous snake. Just the attack of that cobra on that crow killed that crow. I saw the bird flung nearly 20 feet across the garden, where, after fluttering about for a while, it lay still. The myna remained on the cactus plant, very wisely refrained from interfering again. Then what happened now? I saw the bird flung. Then that bird, after getting bite from whom? That cobra. It flew 20 feet across the garden, just 20 feet across the garden, where, after fluttering means making a series of quick movements for a while, only for a short time. What happened? It lay still. That crow, after getting bite from whom? That cobra, just flew in the air and just flew across the garden, then fell down and lay there still, means without any movement. It laid there means what? Died. The myna remained on the cactus plant. The myna was also watching this. It remained on the cactus plant very wisely. This myna also got an idea that crow died. If I go very near, same like that crow, what will happen? I too will die. So very wisely that myna stood on the cactus plant. Wisely refrained. Refrained means avoid doing something. It didn't do anything. Whenever the cobra fails in its attack on whom? That mongoose, they used to, or the myna and crow, they flew to them. Flew it, no? But after getting bite from whom? That cobra, to whom? That crow, this myna understood that is not a that is a dangerous prey. So it remained there on the cactus plant, unmoving. Okay, got it? Without any interference, he stood there. Okay. Then the cobra was weakening, and the mongoose, walking fearlessly up to it, raised himself on his short legs, and with a lightning snap had the big snake by the snout. The cobra writhed and lashed about in a frightening manner, and even coiled itself about the mongoose, but all to no avail. The little fellow hung grimly on until the snake had ceased to struggle. He then smelled along its quivering length, and gripping it round the hood, dragged it into the bushes. The myna dropped cautiously to the ground, hopped about, peered into the bushes from the safe distance, and then, with a shrill cry of congratulation, flew away. Then, what is this paragraph saying? The cobra was weakening. 3 times it attacked and failed. Then it attacked that crow and killed it. Then, after that, he was weakening. And the mongoose, what about the mongoose? Walking fearlessly. That mongoose was walking fearlessly without any fear up to it. It was fearlessly moving towards whom? That cobra. Raised himself. It raised himself from where? On his short legs. That mongoose legs are very short. So with short legs, it raised, and with lightning snap, with lightning movement, lightning, like light, what happened? Had the big snake by the snout, with a lightning speed, with very speed movement. What happened? It caught the big snake by the snout. Snout means the nose and the mouth part of whom? That cobra. Then what? That mongoose moved And when that cobra was weakening his power, that mongoose attacked him and caught on the snout of that cobra. Snout means, I told you, nose and mouth. Got it. The cobra writhed. Now that mongoose caught on the mouth, nose of that cobra. Now the mouth and nose of that cobra is onward inside the mouth of that mongoose. So it writhed. Writhed means moving in a twisting way. And lashed means beating its tail, beating on the earth, on the ground, about in a frightening manner, and even coiled itself about the mongoose, and the tail, the remaining part of the that snake coiled on that body of mongoose. But all to no avail. No use. That mongoose got the grip on that mouth and nose of that snake. Then how can he move? What can he do? Nothing. Can he do anything? No, nothing. The little fellow hung grimly. The little fellow hung grimly on. That little fellow means here that mongoose moved on in a serious manner until the snake had ceased to struggle. It caught that mongoose stood still without moving by biting or catching that snout. Snout means the nose and the mouth of the snake for a long time. Then what happened? Then that snake, that cobra, tried to escape from the mouth of that mongoose, but no use. It moved its tail and bet on the ground, and then coiled on the body of that mongoose, but it couldn't use much power because it was weakening. And till the moment of that cobra stops, who waited? That mongoose waited. It ceased. So stopped. Cease means stop. It's true that cobra stopped his struggle. He then smelt along its skewering length. Then it smelt with his nose. It smelt to that body of that cobra. And gripping means here holding it around the hood. It just checked the hood of that cobra. Dragged it. Then what? It understood. Who died? The cobra died. Then it dragged the body of that long cobra into the bushes. The myna dropped cautiously to the ground. Then that myna was sitting on the bush cactus plant. This just dropped, means flew and came down on the ground very cautiously and hopped out. Hopped means jumped. Peered into the bushes, and it just peered to the that bushes, because that mongoose took that cobra to there. From a safe distance, it looked only from a safe distance, because he knew who that crow died. The crow was killed because it moved very close to that cobra. That's why. Then with a shrill cry of congratulation, flew away. Then without much waiting there, he stopped and just escaped from there. Who? Myna. So in this way, by showing such a power and trick, who the mongoose attacked that snake and killed it. Okay, this is here we can stop. We will continue in the next class, the remaining part of the lesson, the conclusion of this lesson. So read this lesson very carefully and answer the side question answers and send me. Okay, thank you.